Yeah, man. Let's get it. I was about to fucking. Oh, I was about to really rock it. Like, I was about to really rock it. Sometimes I embarrass myself in ways that I shouldn't embarrass myself. But, anyways, we're back. You know what day it is? It's Friday. Well, if you're listening on Friday. But today's Thursday, actually. You know, that doesn't matter. But you know what day it is? It's another day to get educated at the back of the class show. Why am I fucking really rocking right now? But you're back at the back of the class show with your lovely teacher. With your teacher, that is the creator. And as usual, sign up for the classes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Spotify and Apple Podcast channel and Google Podcasts. I doubt anyone actually uses that. I just have that for bands, to be honest. But also follow our socials at Back of the Class, at Back OT Class Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And follow me at Demi_the creator on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who listened to the first couple episodes, and also especially last episode, and who left comments, because those really helped me get through the week, because it's been a hard week. It's been a difficult week. So the good comments and the nice comments have been very sweet and very much appreciated and welcomed. Thank you very much. Hugs and kisses. Mwah, mwah. You know how it is. And today I have something else. I have something new to talk about. I know I was supposed to talk about the same things last week, but then I asked people like, yo, did I explain it enough in the last episode? And people said, yeah, I did a good job, which made me really happy, because I was very insecure that I did a inadequate job. But I did a good job, apparently. So, yay me. I should get a gold star for this. Comment a gold star. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel or on the Instagram page. Leave a comment of a gold star. Just for me. Thank you. And also, let me know what you'd like me to talk about. And let me know who you'd like me to have on the show, or who you'd like me to try to have on the show. So give me a list, give me suggestions. You're very much welcome to be on the show as well if you want to be. So just let me know. You can send a message, send a DM, or you can send an email to info@backoftheclassshow.com. So now that that's been said, let's get into the topic of the day: unconditional love. Unconditional love. Let that sink in for a hot second. To love and to be loved without condition. Now, if you know me, you probably have an idea where this is gonna go. You probably have an idea where this is gonna take us. But when it comes to unconditional love, my only opinion on said thing or topic or whatever is that it is very unrealistic and a very dangerous concept. Because at the very base of it, just to sum it all up in one sentence, not a phrase, in one sentence, to love someone unconditionally is to ignore every reason why you should not love them. And if you ignore the reasons why you should not love them, you put yourself in potential harm's way. And it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be verbal or mental, it could be any sort of harm. And I would also like to give a disclaimer, like trigger warning. I might discuss topics or concepts of abuse and things like that. So trigger warning and a disclaimer and a warning, just all of it, just so everyone knows. So yeah, so let's go into this. I had a hard time figuring out what exactly I wanted to talk about, because I spent the whole week basically trying to talk about the topic of last week, but then this also came up and I was like, yeah, this is a good topic as well that I think about a lot. But I'm trying to figure out what exactly is relevant, what should I leave out, what should I put in. But I'm going to start with how unconditional love is unrealistic. So I think it's unrealistic in the sense that love in itself is conditional, because if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be love. Because there's a reason why you love someone. Sometimes you can't explain it, and that's fine. Like, that's okay if you can't explain it, but there is a reason. Because otherwise, if you meet someone, you just fall in love with them. But that doesn't happen. At least I don't think that happens. So it's very unrealistic in that sense. Even the love between parents and kids is not unconditional. Like, it has a caveat attached to it, and we see it all the time. Like, and sometimes sometimes people just get lucky enough to always meet the condition for said love, so they never actually get to experience the lack of love. So the perfect child syndrome, basically. So yeah, so love is very unconditional, and this also takes me to the part of like marriages and how if you're with a person, if you have a relationship or partner or wife or husband, you're supposed to love said person unconditionally. The to death do us part concept. And I think that's very dangerous and harmful, because then people get stuck in relationships that do not serve them. They get stuck in relationships that are potentially abusive. They get stuck in relationships where they don't have their needs, their like basic needs met, and all they have is this notion of this concept of loyalty to remain in said relationship. Because a lot of people are very unhappy in marriages. And let's even just start at the basic fact that 50% of marriages end in divorce. So that's 50% of people who got married and clocked and were actually brave enough to say, you know what, fuck this isn't for me. Because amongst the 50% of people who do not get a divorce, there's people who are still unhappy with the relationship. So it's very safe to say that more than half of the people who get married need to leave the marriage or need to leave the relationship. Because if half of the people are actually leaving, and then there's people who remain but aren't actually happy, but like should leave but don't leave, then it's very safe to say that more than half of relationships are ass. More than 50% of relationships are horrible. And that's because human beings in general just continually grow and continually evolve in themselves. Like you're continually changing as a person, and your partner is continuously changing as a person. So your needs are changing, their needs are changing. What you can provide is changing, what they can provide is changing. And I think it's such a fantasy dream to think that the whole time that you're with someone, even with all of this changing, that you guys will just magically change in the same direction and continuously be enough for each other. And that's also why I have a problem when people say that marriage isn't just about love, it's about continuously choosing each other. I'm like, huh? Continuously choosing who? Because why should that be a task? I don't want to be with someone that I have to continuously choose. Like, why am I actually making mental effort to choose you? Like, it shouldn't be a challenge to choose you, because to continuously choose someone is to actually need to make an effort to choosing them. Like, you should be with them because you don't have to choose to be with them. You want to be with them. Like, it should be a want, not a should. But people do that because unconditional love. And a lot of people get stuck in loveless marriages, and in marriages that are just horrible. And some people get delusional enough to be like, oh yeah, but my kids, I promise you, your kids might be better off with you guys leaving, because look, sometimes children aren't stupid. And if that's your reasons for staying together, at some point your kids are gonna clock it. And once they clock that, hey, they're just together because of us, but they're very unhappy together, your kids are going to feel guilty, or like they're going to feel responsible for your relationship. And that's going to be a detriment to their mental health. And then they develop all sorts of things. So there's also this trope of like married men and married women having nothing good to say about their partners, which is very prevalent. But like let's add some nuance actually. Just add some nuance. There's good marriages, and it's because niggas, people just don't speak good about people. Like people keep the good to themselves, and we all know that people keep good to themselves and like spread negativity. Like that's agreed, agreed. But it's also very sus that people just have nothing good to say about their partners. Like that's just like, every time it's just, oh, my nigga did this, my wife did that. Like, oh, I'm tired. Leave. And that's why my friends also know not to come to me with your relationship problem. Because if you come to me with your relationship problems, after some point, I just tell you to break up with your partner. And that's going to be my mantra. Just break up. Because it's starting to look like this person is no good for you. It's starting to feel like this woman is a burden to you. It's starting to feel like this man doesn't provide you with anything that you need. So it's like, just leave. I think you're better off alone. And also, I have a big problem with like the whole concept of unconditional love and the concept of like monogamy and things like that, because it's very much rooted in like and like in like Christianity and things and religion and stuff like that. Because there's this whole, yeah, because you get married, you make vows before God and man, and you're not supposed to leave your partner under any circumstances except maybe someone cheats. And I think that very much that ignores the humanity of the people in the relationship, in the sense that they have needs that need to be met. Like, yeah, for better or for worse, but bro, how much worse do you want me to get? How much worse do you want me to endure? If it's getting worse and worse, and the worse it gets, the more you hate the relationship. And at some point, I think you should be allowed to leave. And this is not to say that any minor inconvenience you should dip. Like that's lazy. That's bad. But everyone should be able to be like, you know what, this is my bottle, and now the worse has filled this bottle up, and I think that's my time to dip, because any more than this, then and it's just bad. Like, it's just bad. And people should really be allowed to do that, because we as a society frown so much on the idea of divorce. So like, we shame people who get divorced when we really shouldn't, because if they got with said person, if they got married to said woman, or got married to said man, or got married to said non-binary person, then they believed wholeheartedly, or like at that point in time, they were fully convinced that this was their person, and they wanted to be with this person for life. And things happen along the way. Like, that's normal. Like, things do happen, and we should allow people the opportunity, or the freedom to leave relationships, or to leave marriages that don't serve them. Because like, if you can leave a regular relationship, why can't you leave a marriage? Because why should there be a difference between your marriage and your regular relationship? All it changes really is that you signed a piece of paper, and bought rings and shit. And I'm not saying there's no benefit to being married. Like, there is a benefit to being married, like legally, and by law, and like shit. Like, you get taxes, and also you get to make decisions for your partner in terms of in hospitals and shit like that. Like, there's benefits. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, in terms of how we treat each other, why should there be a difference? And I think there's also an issue in terms of like how we as a society socialize boys and socialize girls, so men and women, how we socialize each other in completely opposite ways when it comes to the concept of love and marriage and things like this. For instance, there's a very clear distinction. Like, there's a very clear image of how men and women view getting married, and that is that for a lot of women, getting married is more or less the beginning of a thing. Like, it's the beginning of said relationship. And for a lot of men, getting married is the end point. And that's why a lot of times, as in marriages, you then see this disconnect start to build, where the woman expects more from the man, but the man feels like he should be able to do less, because yeah, that's the finish line. And once you finish a race, you're not gonna continue running, are you? No. I think that's just something that society, like, we've really socialized people very differently, and then we get very super, and then we're like no, actually let's deep it. We're actually all loonies, low key. We're actually all lunatics, because we do this to boys and girls, like we do this to men and women. And then when men and women get together and they want to go apart, we're like, oh, what happened? What did you expect? You expected them to actually be happy together? She expected more and he expected less. That was never gonna work. It was never gonna work. And then coupled with the patriarchy, that just makes things worse. Especially, and then coupled with the capitalism as well, just makes it even worse, because now we live in an age, like we live in that was very weird to say, but like we live in times where shit is expensive, life in general is expensive. People can't afford to even survive, even with a job. So then it's like everything is just all over the place. And because of capitalism, everything's more expensive. Like there's inflation in that, the economy is just horrible. And then with the patriarchy, where there's gender roles and things that are expected from men and women. So like we expect men to be sole providers and to be breadwinners, and then we expect men to be sorry, and then we expect women to be homemakers. Like it just doesn't work. Like it doesn't work, because a man simply cannot provide enough alone, and a woman has to help out, but then we still expect women to be homemakers, and so the work distribution just goes all over the place. And of course they're gonna butt heads, because she might not be happy that she needs to help him financially, because that's not what society told her that being with a man is going to look like. And he's not happy that she expects him to do housework, because that's not what society told him that marriage is going to look like. And now we have a situation where they both hate to be together, but they cannot leave because unconditional love. And not to speak on the abuse part, a lot of people, mostly women, a lot of people remain in relationships that are abusive because they just let their partner pass. And that's why I said to love someone unconditionally, you need to ignore the reasons why you shouldn't love them. And one of these reasons is the fact that your partner could be very abusive, be it physically, be it emotionally, be it verbally, be it whatever. Abuse is abuse, and if you're being abused in your relationship, you should leave. But people can't leave because they're supposed to love their partners unconditionally, and they're supposed to stay and charge it to their game. You're supposed to accept your partner with their flaws. And I'm not saying if someone has flaws you should leave. Like some flaws, I hear it. Okay, like I hear it. He snores when he sleep. Okay, that yeah, it happens. That's life. That's life. But like abuse, you should 100% leave. I think some flaws should be on non-negotiable, I think is the word, non-negotiable, and people should leave when those flaws appear. But a lot of people stick it out. A lot of people stay in marriages where they're being abused because that's what love is supposed to be. After all, you did say before God and man, you did say you would be with your partner for better or for worse. Yeah, no, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't, and you should catch the first flight out of said relationship, or at least that's my personal opinion. But I just think unconditional love is just very it's tricky. It's tricky. And also to give a bit of a male perspective on this. Like it's something that a lot of men crave, not me though. I would hate if someone loved me unconditionally. That's actually one of my biggest fears, to be loved unconditionally. I don't know if this is because my childhood was fucked. Maybe, could be. But like, I would actually hate if someone loved me without condition, because it at some point it just feels like, oi, like why? Like you're just doing yourself a disservice at this point. And I think it shows up a lot as well when I'm like with people, because for whatever reason, and I say whatever reason because I also don't know why I do this, but for whatever reason, I always make it clear to people that they can leave if they want to and if they feel the need to. And it's not because I don't care, it's just on the vibe of like, look, if this relationship isn't working for you, you 100% should leave because you have the chance to. And I hear it, fight for your relationship, try to work on it. But there's only so much work that I am willing to put. And there's only so much work that you're willing to put. And if our maximum outputs are not enough for the minimum input of the other person, then I think people should leave. And that also means people leaving me. Because I already struggle enough with leaving people because of the whole. Because not gonna lie, I also do struggle with the idea of unconditional love, or like the idea of giving people several chances. I do struggle with that. I do struggle with putting up boundaries for myself. I do struggle with that, and I do want better for myself, and that also means that I want better for my partner because the thing for me is if I love someone, if I really like someone, and I see that person as my partner, I want for them what I want for me, and I want for me the ability to draw boundaries and to leave when the time comes. So I want the same for them as well. But yeah, unconditional love. I have no idea how long I've been talking. I think it's been about 20 minutes. But yeah, I think that's actually. I was gonna talk about how men hate to be in marriages and how women also hate to be in marriages and like how they never have good things to say about each other. But I think everyone already knows that. And I'll actually no. Let me actually talk about it real quick. So like, male perspective, yeah. I see a lot of times where men on the internet, at least a lot on the internet because yeah, on the internet, always talking about like there's always this discourse about like why don't men want marriage anymore? Why yeah, and then people are like, oh yeah, because we saw the uncles, we saw grandfathers, like in all of them, they weren't happy in their marriages and whatnot. And I think it's so, and I get it. I get it. Like I think men have this need or like have this want. Yes, not a need, a want. Have this want to be loved unconditionally, and their way or like the road that they take to try to get unconditional love is by having this fake unconditional love for people, especially people that they're married to, in the sense that they should leave their marriages. Like there's a lot of men that I know they should leave their marriages. Well, not that I know per se, but like there's a lot of men that I've seen or like I've spoken to, and maybe like had a few one twos with, that should leave their marriages in my opinion, but they stay because they're like, look, happy wife, happy life. As long as she's happy, I'm fine. Which doesn't make sense because your happiness should matter as much as hers in your relationship. But a lot of men stick it out because to them they're like, if I stick it out long enough, maybe she should also learn to love me for me, and stop complaining about my flaws, which she should complain about your flaws, which is and so men sometimes you just turn a blind eye to faults and stay in relationships that they shouldn't be in and things like that, and then they build up resentment, and this just turns into a horrible situation. But anyways, anyways, I'm gonna end this here. You guys have some homework to do. Think about unconditional love. Tell me what you think about unconditional love. Tell me if you agree with me. Tell me if you don't agree with me. I don't really. Like, just chat to me. And as usual, subscribe. Please leave a review on the podcast page. Leave a 5-star review. That'd be very nice. I would love that very much. And as usual, I have been your host, Demi the Creator. Follow me at Demi_the Creator and follow the podcast at Back OT Class Show. All of it on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Leave a comment, leave a like, send me a DM, send me an email, info@backoftheclassshow.com. Let me know who you'd like on the podcast. It could be you, it could be a friend, it could be a celebrity, it could be anyone. At the very least, I promise I'll try to get that person on the show. And let me know what you'd like me to talk about. This could be a topic, this could be like an event that happened, this could be a concept, a theory, whatever you want. let me know, and I'll put in the work. If I need to do research, I'll do it. Like that's not a big deal. Like I don't know everything, but like I can learn as I go. So just let me know what you think and let me know what you'd like me to talk about. And before we close this chapter out, before we close this episode out, I would like to tell you that it's been 1 month since we started posting, since we started this show. And guys, we've made it 28 days by the time this is out. Not like right now while I'm recording, but like by the time this is out. It's been 28 days, and I would like to say a big thank you to everyone who's been on the journey with me. It hasn't been easy, because I've been juggling this, I've been juggling a part-time job, and I've been juggling looking for a job like a full-time engineering job as well. So it's been chaotic. It's been chaotic, but I've tried my best, and I'm happy that people actually enjoy this, or like people actually like this, and are coming along with me on this. So thank you very much, guys. Big shout out to everyone who's been involved, everyone who's shared the show and the podcast with their friends. Like big thank you, because that means a lot and that helps a lot. And let me add songs to the playlist. I'm going to a Scissor concert tonight. Some of you some of you might know, but like I'm going to a Scissor concert tonight. I got like tickets off of Ticket Swap. So I'm gonna see Solana in person. I'm looking forward to that. And in honor of that, I am adding Good Days by SZA to the playlist. Yeah, because it's a good day today. I'm adding Good Days to the playlist, and I'm also gonna add 2 other songs. I'm gonna add Consideration by Rihanna, and I'm gonna add Lord Pretty Flacco Jody too. So LPFJ 2 by ASAP Rocky. People who know, if you know, you know. If you don't, get to know by listening to the playlist. I'm getting better at this, the connections. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tired because I literally woke up at like 6 a.m. because I had to take out my braids and also record. And I tried recording at the same time as I was taking out my braids, but then my alarm. It's actually ridiculous because I set several alarms just in case I didn't wake up, but I did wake up. I forgot to switch off the alarms. It's like while I was recording, my alarm went off and absolutely knackered, ruined the recording session. Like it actually ruined the file because I record on my phone and the alarm was on my phone, so it just stopped smack in the middle. And then the camera, and then the second camera, the battery died. I know I should have charged it. In my defense, there were 2 bars. It had 2 bars when I switched it on. It was charged, but then it died. And so it was just bad. Like, yeah, after that I was just like, let me just focus on just doing my hair and washing it and conditioning and doing the whole thing, the whole self-pamper thing. So yeah, that's what happened. So like now I'm really tired. But yeah, it's been the Back of the Class show. Thank you very much for attending the class on Unconditional Love. And I hope to see you guys again next week. And happy 1 month anniversary to all of us. And with that, guys, have a good week and have a good weekend and have a good day.